As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey folks, Garrett Fisher here. I need to tell you about this absolutely mind-blowing podcast, Acting President, that's been keeping me up at night. It's about James Bennett, a former governor starring in a hit Sunday night TV show about overthrowing the government, and then his actual former chief of staff approaches him to do it for real. The line between fiction and reality completely disappears when these course correction rallies start popping up everywhere. Is it brilliant marketing or something more sinister? The parallels are insane. Trust me, this is the political thriller you didn't know you needed in your life. Acting President, available now wherever you find podcasts.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re delivered a moving eulogy for Pope Francis on Saturday, honouring him as a true Pope of the people, whose informal and spontaneous style allowed him to communicate effectively with the least among us. The Cardinal spoke with deep reverence, describing Francis as a Pope among the people, with an open heart towards everyone, capturing the essence of a pontificate marked by accessibility and compassion. In his remarks, Cardinal Re evoked the poignant final public image many would carry of Francis. The pontiff offering what would become his last blessing on Easter Sunday and waving to the faithful from the popemobile in St. Peter's Square, the very same piazza where his funeral mass was now being celebrated. Pope Francis, the humble pontiff whose acts of inclusiveness, modesty and mercy rippled through his 12-year papacy, was laid to rest Saturday in a service he deliberately simplified. Hundreds of thousands of mourners and dozens of world leaders and dignitaries packed St. Peter's Square at the Vatican for the funeral. After the Mass, Francis's coffin was placed on an open-air popemobile and transported to the burial site outside the Vatican by a motorcade that traversed the streets of Rome, lined by cheering crowds. The Mass began with readings from the scripture after Francis's simple wooden coffin, adorned by a large cross, was carried into the square by white-gloved pallbearers. Applause echoed through the crowd as bells tolled. Some mourners had camped out overnight to secure a spot, with Maria Fierro of Spain sharing, "We have been waiting all night." Accompanying Francis in his last moments is very emotional. Sister James Mary, a Franciscan nun, described staying up the whole night. "We want to say goodbye because he was a living saint, very humble and simple." The Vatican selected a profound artistic image for the official funeral mass booklet, The Deposition from the Cross, by 18th century Italian artist Sebastiano Conca. While this masterpiece hangs in the Vatican museums, it was not widely known to be Francis's favourite painting. That distinction belonged to The Calling of St. Matthew by the Baroque master Caravaggio, which resides in the Church of San Luigi dei Francesi in Rome. A work that reportedly held special spiritual significance for the humble pontiff. During Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re's moving homily, the gathered faithful broke into spontaneous applause at several poignant moments. One particularly resonant mention was the Cardinal's reference to Pope Francis's transformative journey to Lampedusa, the southern Italian island that has become a powerful symbol of the global refugee crisis. A visit that early in his papacy signalled his unwavering commitment to those at society's margins. While Cardinal Re delivered his heartfelt homily in Italian, The universal nature of the Church and Francis's global impact were honoured through readings offered in numerous languages. The multilingual service included texts in English, Spanish, French, Arabic and Portuguese, reflecting the worldwide community united in mourning a pontiff who had worked tirelessly to bridge divides and foster inclusion throughout his 12-year papacy. Among the notable instructions in Pope Francis's spiritual will was the revelation that a benefactor would cover the expenses of his burial. Archbishop Rolandus Macricus, whom Francis had entrusted with his final arrangements, shared with the Roman newspaper Il Messaggero that despite the Vatican's ample resources to handle such matters, the Pope had specifically mentioned someone who wished to make this gesture. The identity of this generous soul remains undisclosed, adding a final touch of mystery to a papacy marked by both transparency and profound personal relationships. Pope Francis's coffin arrived at St. Mary Major Basilica, where bishops and top cardinals gathered to receive it for the private burial ceremony. In a moment of profound reverence, the pallbearers paused before the icon of the Madonna that Francis had deeply venerated throughout his papacy, offering a final farewell salute. 4 children approached the altar of the chapel, housing the sacred icon, gently laying white roses in tribute to the departed pontiff. The pallbearers then proceeded with the coffin toward its final resting place, a simple niche where Francis will be interred beneath a modest tombstone bearing his name in Latin. As the most solemn moments of committal approached, Vatican media respectfully withdrew, turning cameras toward the basilica's exterior to allow the burial to continue in privacy. After the coffin had been carried inside by Swiss guards, this final act of discretion honoured the personal nature of the moment when a shepherd is returned to the earth he once served.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to calaroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 Good News Stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the Uninterrupted Listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to calaroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
In the solemn hours following the funeral of Pope Francis, attention turned to a diplomatic meeting that the late pontiff might have himself endorsed. Theologian and papal biographer George Weigel suggested on MSNBC that Pope Francis would have approved of the encounter between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on this significant day. Weigel reflected that this moment of global mourning should serve as a reminder to world leaders of their moral accountability. One has to hope that this entire experience of the past several hours has reminded public officials from all over the world that they are men and women under judgment, that they are going to have to give an account of their stewardship, he said. The biographer emphasized that Francis's understanding of peace extended beyond mere negotiation, stating, "True, real and enduring peace is not simply making deals." He added that authentic peace has a lot to do with justice, with the restoration of justice after it's been violated, and has been massively the case in Ukraine. As world leaders departed St. Peter's Square, the confluence of diplomatic engagement amid spiritual reflection seemed to embody the late pontiff's lifelong commitment to both practical peacemaking and moral integrity. We'll continue to have daily updates for the foreseeable future. Please join us every Sunday for our regularly scheduled episode of White Smoke, The Path to a New Pope, where we explore humanity's most elaborate and secretive transfer of power. White Smoke is a production of Calaroga Shark Media. Executive producers John McDermott and Mark Francis.